In the bustling city where I worked, the office had always been a hub of activity and productivity. For 15 years, I had dedicated myself to my job with unwavering commitment. My days were filled with meetings, reports, and deadlines, and while the work was demanding, it was also fulfilling. Or at least it used to be. The real challenge began when certain colleagues started treating me with open hostility. It began with offhand remarks and condescending comments, which I initially tried to brush off. But soon, the subtle jabs evolved into outright verbal abuse. These colleagues seemed to take pleasure in belittling me, and their harsh words cut deep, affecting my confidence and enthusiasm for work. At first, I believed it was just a phase, something that would eventually pass. I kept my head down, did my job, and hoped that the situation would improve. However, the verbal abuse persisted, becoming a daily ordeal. It wasn't just about the words, it was about the way they were delivered. Sneers, sarcastic tones, and a general air of disdain. The negativity was suffocating. My efforts to address the issue with HR seemed futile. I reported the incidents, but the response was often dismissive, and the problem continued unabated. The work environment became increasingly toxic, and it began to affect my personal life. I found myself stressed and anxious, unable to relax even when I was away from the office. My relationships with family and friends were strained as I struggled to keep the emotional fallout from work at bay. One evening, after a particularly brutal day, I sat in my apartment feeling utterly defeated. The emotional toll was overwhelming. My daughter, Maria, who had always been my pillar of support, noticed my distress. She was a perceptive young woman with a knack for finding solutions to difficult problems. "Dad," Maria said gently, "I've been learning about manifestation and the power of positive thinking. Have you ever considered it?" I was taken aback. Manifestation. It sounded like something out of a self-help book, not a practical solution to my workplace problems. But Maria's earnestness and the glimmer of hope in her eyes made me pause. I had nothing to lose at this point, so I decided to explore the concept further. Maria had been reading Joe Dispenza's work, which centered around the idea that our thoughts and beliefs have the power to shape our reality. She explained how visualization and positive thinking could lead to significant changes in one's life. Skeptical but intrigued, I decided to give it a try. The next morning, I started my new routine. I set aside 15 minutes each day for meditation. I would sit quietly in a comfortable chair, close my eyes, and visualize the office as I wanted it to be. In my mind's eye, I saw a place where respect and kindness were the norms, where my colleagues interacted with each other in a supportive and constructive manner. I pictured myself walking through the office with confidence, free from the cloud of negativity that had overshadowed me for so long. During these meditation sessions, I focused on the feelings of gratitude and joy. I imagined the office bustling with positive energy, where everyone was engaged and happy. I visualized the negative comments disappearing, replaced by encouragement and camaraderie. The more vividly I imagined this ideal environment, the more real it felt. In addition to meditation, I began to use affirmations. I wrote down statements like, "I am respected and valued," and "My work environment is positive and supportive." I repeated these affirmations several times a day, internalizing them and allowing them to replace the negative thoughts that had plagued me. At first, the changes were subtle. I noticed that some interactions with colleagues were slightly more pleasant, but the overall atmosphere still felt heavy. However, I remained committed to my daily practices, believing that persistence would eventually pay off. Meanwhile, I made some practical adjustments in the office. I focused on improving my own approach to work and interactions. I reached out to colleagues with a more positive attitude, hoping to influence the atmosphere around me. I participated more actively in team meetings, offering constructive feedback and showing appreciation for others' contributions. One day, I was approached by a colleague who had previously been one of the sources of my distress. They complimented a project I had worked on, acknowledging the effort and creativity involved. It was a small gesture, but it felt significant. It was as if the positive energy I had been cultivating was beginning to ripple outwards. Maria's support and encouragement continued to be invaluable. She was always there to listen, offer advice, and share in the small victories. Together, we celebrated the improvements, no matter how minor. Each positive change, no matter how small, was a testament to the power of manifestation. The turning point came when a few of the colleagues who had been particularly aggressive in their behavior decided to leave the company. Some had found new job opportunities, while others were let go as part of a broader organizational restructuring. Their departure created a noticeable shift in the office dynamics. The atmosphere lightened, and the remaining colleagues seemed more open and respectful. Despite the improvements, not all issues were resolved. A few colleagues continued to exhibit negative behavior. It became clear that while my visualization and affirmation practices had contributed to a more positive environment, there were still challenges to address. I decided to take a more active role in addressing these lingering issues. I documented every instance of verbal abuse, noting dates, times, and specific details. Armed with this evidence, I reported the incidents to HR once again. This time, I also sought guidance from a trusted mentor within the company, who helped me navigate the process of ensuring that company policies on workplace behavior were enforced more rigorously. HR took the complaints seriously and conducted a thorough investigation. The results led to disciplinary actions against those who had been involved in the abusive behavior. It was a challenging process, but seeing the company take concrete steps towards addressing the issues was a significant step in the right direction. As the office environment continued to improve, I felt a renewed sense of confidence and respect. The stress that had once consumed me began to dissipate. I remained committed to my manifestation practices, setting new goals and visualizing even greater success. I continued to focus on maintaining a positive mindset and contributing to a supportive work environment. In the months that followed, the office culture continued to evolve. Positive interactions became the norm, and the collaborative spirit grew stronger. Colleagues who had previously been disengaged became more involved and enthusiastic. The improvements were reflected not only in our interactions but also in the quality of our work. Productivity increased, and the overall work environment became much more pleasant. Looking back on this journey, I am deeply grateful for the lessons learned. The power of manifestation and positive thinking played a crucial role in transforming my work environment, but it was the combination of mental shifts and proactive measures that brought about the most significant changes. The experience taught me the importance of resilience, belief, and the willingness to take action in shaping one's reality. Now, as I look around the office, I see a place where respect and support thrive. The challenges I faced have become a part of my story, a testament to the power of perseverance and the impact of positive thinking. My journey is a reminder that while we may not always be able to control others' behavior, we have the power to shape our own reality and advocate for a better environment.